Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler, author of A Saga on Home Video, coming to you from a pretty dreary, stormy day here in the Atlanta metro area. If the lighting looks a little different, I've got the windows closed because it's just stormy as heck outside here. What we want to do this time is actually do a supplemental episode tying into an episode released fairly recently. And I very much blame Matthew Hardesty for me falling down this rabbit hole, in a good-natured sort of way. But certainly he is who set me somewhat on this path. I have been Hardestied, as we use people's last names as verbs to indicate when somebody shares something in the Star Wars home video community and someone else jumps down that particular rabbit hole because they must have whatever it is. One of the things we looked at on this series is the VHS and DVD releases, 2 VHS, 1 DVD, of this documentary, The Mythology of Star Wars, with George Lucas and Bill Moyers, where George Lucas sits down with Bill Moyers to talk about mythology in relation to the Star Wars saga. But that is sort of a follow-up to an earlier documentary series, a 6-part series, in which Bill Moyers actually interviewed Joseph Campbell about mythology at Skywalker Ranch. And that series actually included discussion of Star Wars in its first episode as kind of a way of showing how mythology sort of permeates even into modern day and that sort of thing, and how the archetypes carry over and all. But depending on which release we looked at of that earlier documentary series, some of them do include bonus content that's basically snippets from this. So it becomes a sort of Star Wars adjacent item. And just recently I pointed out that we had looked at this copy of Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth with Bill Moyers probably way back when we first looked at this, I think. But just recently we actually had an episode prompted by Matthew Hardesty pointing me to the fact that this was part of a Kino Lorber sale of this version, the 30th anniversary edition of Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, and put out by Kino Lorber in 2018. So after getting this and doing an episode on it, my thought was, again, there's still not a whole lot of stuff out there to collect right now. I did just get some summer school pay. Maybe I'll just pick up any other copies I run into of Power of Myth. It'd be a cool thing to add, a cool thing to show on the program here, because I knew there was at least 1 or 2 more out there. But surely, famous last words, surely there couldn't be that many more releases of Power of Myth out there, right? And thus I fell down the rabbit hole. So in this episode, we're going to be taking a look here at LaserDisc, VHS, and DVD releases throughout the years of Joseph Campbell's The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, which again does have Star Wars content in the first episode and does, depending on the release, have snippets from this release right here. And I would note, by the way, that there is so much stuff that carries over or doesn't carry over between different releases that I have extensive notes here, to the point where I had to make, I've never had to do this before, I had to make a grid just to track which bonus features carry over and don't from these different releases, because they are so similar yet not always the same. Holy cow, but we're going to try to get through it quickly because it's a Star Wars adjacent release. We don't need a ton of detail on it, and certainly I have talked about this program in detail and various bonus features and whatnot before. So our story, at least for home video releases of this, begins back in 1988. Joseph Campbell died in 1987. But before he died, he sat down and had these extensive interviews with Bill Moyers, both at Skywalker Ranch, which of course is Lucas's, and at the American Museum of Natural History. And that eventually got made into a 6-part series called Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth, though we'll see that whether it's and as A-N-D, or and as an ampersand, or just no and at all, and it just somehow becomes like a colon or something in the name, that 6-episode series has been put out on home video multiple times and has become one of the sort of seminal works in just that concept, at least documentary style, on mythology, archetypes, and how it carries over even into the modern day. So we're going to start in 1988 with what is, if not the first release, one of the first releases here, and that is this. Joseph Campbell, ampersand, and The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers. It says Voyager down there. Voyager Company put this out. Just has the one image there for this. The spine's a little tough to see there, but I'll read it and show it to you again. It says Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth with Bill Moyers with the ampersand again. Very tiny over here. Then on this side just says Voyager. Kind of hard to see. Anything else you see is just like little white nicks in the black from this being kind of old. You can see there the title and then Voyager on that end. And then the back here offers the title again, a quick synopsis, which I will read, and then chapter information and whatnot for each of the individual episodes. Legalese, 3 discs. It is CLV extended play, so about an hour per side. So it's 1 episode per side across 3 discs. And then you've got just your company information, legalese, all that good stuff down there at the bottom. The discs themselves are not particularly noteworthy in terms of style. I would note they all just do fit in here from the side. It's not like it's a folding jacket or anything like that. So we can really just look at one disc to have a sense of how all of them look. Obviously, these are LaserDiscs. They are large, for those who are not familiar with it. Again, you're seeing reflection. Oh, goodness here. Yes, there's me on the iPad on the tripod. Yeah. But there we go. Let me stand up, actually, and scoot closer so you can see this. So we have Joseph Campbell and The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, again with an ampersand for the and. 1, because it is side 1 in episode 1. The Hero's Adventure, that is the first episode. That's a CLV, nothing over here. And the Voyager Company information with the copyright down there on the bottom. They all look like this. They are all double-sided because it's 1 episode on one side, 1 episode on the other. As to the episodes here and the description, the episodes are entitled, I know I've hit this before, but they are entitled The Hero's Adventure, which is summarized, which is nice here. They have a little summary of each one, summarized as From Dragons in Caves to Intergalactic Movies, Star Wars, myths lead our minds along a single path of heroism. Then we have second episode, The Message of the Myth. Myths show us where genuine divinity is and how to participate in it. Then side 3, episode 3, The First Storytellers. Stunning resemblances among the world's varied stories reveal crucial truths hidden in the root of our lives. Episode 4, side 4, Sacrifice and Bliss. Identity with the other leads to discovery of the spiritual self. Side 5, episode 5, Love and the Goddess. What has happened to love and what has happened to love for the goddess whose body is the universe. And then episode 6, as it's thundering outside, as if the gods are trying to tell me something here. Masks of Eternity, Campbell's and Moyers' final conversation on, quote, the experience of the ultimate mystery. That thunder is so dramatic, if you can even hear it. But as far as the description goes up at the top, it says, before his death in 1987, Joseph Campbell, the man of 1,000 stories and the world's preeminent authority on mythology, engaged in an historic series of conversations with Bill Moyers at George Lucas's Skywalker Ranch and the American Museum of Natural History. The result was illustrated with visual examples and edited into 6 one-hour programs broadcast during 1988 on PBS. The Voyager Company is pleased to present the entire 6 hours on a set of 3 video discs. Not LaserDiscs, video discs. So, 1988, as far as I know, the only LaserDisc release of this documentary series. The only thing particularly noteworthy about it compared to other ones we are going to see, aside from just the fact that it's on LaserDisc, is that they all start with a Mystic Fire video in association with Parabola, the magazine of myth and tradition. Except the LaserDisc before that says, the Voyager Company presents, and then it switches to the other screen, a Mystic Fire video, blah, 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 blah. Right? So it's still the same stuff, but it now says the Voyager Company presents ahead of the stuff that's everywhere else. Then we're going to find here that this was released on VHS multiple times, though the content pretty much didn't change. You didn't have any like bonus features or anything like that. The first one, at least based on copyright dates that I'm able to pin down, appears to have been actually there in 1988 as a series of VHS releases from Mystic Fire Video and Parabola Magazine. You'll hear those phrases a lot. These are ones that were at least at one point sold as a set, because the set that I bought was actually still in shrink wrap. I have them unshrink wrapped in front of me to show you, but so you can see what they looked like when they were in the shrink wrap and the actual opening of it, so you can kind of see how it was packaged. I actually recorded this little clip weeks ago when it first arrived. So let's check that out, then we'll jump back here and actually look at the individual cassettes. I'm recording this way because in order to show you this set in shrink wrap here, I need to be able to kind of show it to you before I take it apart, because I'm going to need to take it apart to show you anything else. So what we got here is just VHS, okay? Essentially the same UPC here, the same down here, with the one exception being that this one ends in a 1 instead of a 5 for the actual barcode. Mystic Fire Video, it's got the in association with, Parabola Magazine, that stuff here. This is just a little card we'll look at here separately, very much like the little card perhaps on the top of the George Lucas AFI set. But all this is, it's not actually a boxed set. It is, as it's peeling here, just a little card, a foldable card here that we'll look at, on what is basically just a shrink-wrapped set of all of the individual cassettes in their own shrink wrap in this particular parabola-focused form with the UPCs on them. So I'm going to open these up here, and we're going to take a look at them as continuing the regular part of the episode here. Again, pardon the glare, pardon having to record on a separate day, but I felt like it was important to see how this was packaged before I take it all apart to show you the pieces. So yes, this is a set of 6 VHS cassettes. They are labeled at least as 1988. I have not been able to find anything else on them that would suggest another date, which has been the case with some of these other ones. So we'll look at the first one and then kind of go from there. So we have Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth with Bill Moyers. Has an image always kind of in the center there, just against this navy blue background. Program 1, and then the title, in this case, The Hero's Adventure. Okay? And then at the top, Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, Program 1, name of the program, Mystic Fire Video, Parabola Magazine. They do cram a lot of stuff onto the top there. Then this side, the non-UPC side, again, name of the series, Program 1, name of the program. And here you see Mystic Fire Video and Parabola Magazine both listed. That will be an indicator of some stuff later on. The other side has your legalese and copyright date, which again is the 1988 date that I'm seeing here, a VHS product number, and the UPC. And then the back design has the title of the series, Program 1 of 6, name of the program, images of Bill Moyers and Joseph Campbell, description basically of the series, essentially, and then a little snippet type thing here where it's not just describing the program, but actually has bits here of things that they are saying and whatnot. Then credits, Mystic Fire Video, Parabola, the magazine of myth and tradition, and then how to basically acquire more and whatnot, and some publishing information down there in the corner. For what it's worth, if you are interested in actually reading what's being said rather than watching what's being said, there is actually a book version. It's not his Hero 1000 Faces and all that stuff. It literally is just a transcript, essentially, of this documentary series as a book here. This is one printing of it. I'm sure there's been many. This particular printing is apparently from, not that it really matters, 1991. Apparently the first Anchor Books edition from 1991. It's in pretty good shape for being from 1991. In any event, we're going to open this up. I actually have stored that little card that we saw in that other video here. Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, right? The program with the number and the names, reorder number, VHS, UPC, then we have the ISBN number, Mystic Fire Video, and their information associated with Parabola Magazine, yada, yada, yada. Nothing on the other side. This is the thing that was just underneath them inside the shrink wrap. And then the actual cassettes have nothing here. And there's their initial label here, an actual label on the cassette. And notice it's those big reel kind of cassettes. Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, Program 1, name of the program, legalese and whatnot, contact info, Mystic Fire Video, Parabola Magazine. We're going to see that, again, like I said, quite a bit here. And then the VHS actually comes with a little, postcard type thing if you want to learn more about other products from Mystic Fire Video. It says, if you enjoyed this program and wish to receive a complete catalog of Mystic Fire's video and audio products, here's complete and return this business reply card. You will also receive periodic announcements of our new video and audio releases. Then just very quickly, Program 2 is set up the same way, the message of the myth. Okay. And yes, it does also have one of those postcard things in there and a similar label. Program 3, the first storytellers, again, designed effectively the same way. No big surprises there. Yes, another postcard. And this, I guess you'd call those postcards, right? Program 4, Sacrifice and Bliss. And no huge surprises. Yet another card. Notice there that they're all kind of dingy looking after that first one. This was, as you saw, sealed when I got it, so I don't know if that is something where just it has degraded over time to be a little darker, or if that was how it was actually initially presented. Program 5, Love and the Goddess. I'm trying to do this and show you all the different sides. Yet another card. Yet another similar setup there for that. Just, you know, you can see by now as I'm putting these on the floor next to me to clear some space, you can see by now, I mean, they are effectively all designed the same way. Massive Eternity, final program here. And yes, another one of these. So if you bought the big set of these that were shrink wrapped together, they really must want you to be a future customer, because they gave you the chance to reach out about their catalog 6 times. But it makes sense if all they were really doing was taking the retail release of a single one and just combining them and shrink wrapping them together with the little card, but still, feels a little like overkill. Now jump us ahead by 3 years to 1991, give or take, and now you have the ability to buy these as an actual boxed set. Either through Mystic Fire or through Time Life Video, which is known as sort of a mail order company for video cassettes back around that era, often educational stuff, but not always. So these look very, very similar as well. So we'll start with the one that's probably most similar to what we just saw, I guess. That is this set here. This is the one from Time Life Video, but it is a boxed set now. The top says Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth with the and rather than ampersand. Again, the ampersand is only on the LaserDisc. With Bill Moyers there, programs 1 through 6, names of the 6 programs, Mystic Fire Video, Time Life Video, Parabola Magazine. Still emphasizing that connection to Parabola Magazine here. The side is just the title of the series with the image, right, on either side here. The bottom has the title, then video cassette set, try saying that 3 times fast, programs 1 through 6, Time Life Video, Mystic Fire Video, and associated with Parabola Magazine, blah, 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 VHS, contact information type stuff there at the bottom. The back of this one has images of the 2 men, Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, description of the series, then the episode number and a bullet and the name of the episode and a description of each episode, which we won't go into the point of reading. I just wanted you to know kind of what they were like looking at the LaserDisc packaging there. Then you got your Mystic Fire and Parabola stuff again with legalese and copyright date and all that kind of stuff. With the copyright date, the last one listed there at least being 1991, hence I'm assuming this is in 1991. We'll see the same thing with the other one. As to the individual cassettes, I actually am going to be keeping this somewhat sequestered because some of the cassettes in here have a little bit of mold on them, unfortunately. But you have Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, so we have the whole title with and as opposed to an ampersand. Program number, program 1, title of the episode, like we saw before, no big shock there. Now, in this case, though, there's no horizontal spine with a UPC or anything. It's just 2 identical spines. Name of the series, program number, name of the episode, Time Life Video, and it does have Mystic Fire Video and Parabola Magazine on it, like we saw with our standalone release from '88 there. So Time Life Video being the main difference there with its product number over top of it when comparing these 2 side by side. As far as the top, there's no video company underneath anymore. It's just the title, program number, and then the program name itself. And then here, we have the title of the series. Then we have program 1 of 6, name, images of the 2 men, description again of the series. This box again has that description and a little bit of a snippet from their interview. Then you've got cast crew type information here, like the companies and whatnot. Distributed by, blah, 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 legalese and all that kind of stuff here. Mystic Fire Video, Time Life Video, Parabola Magazine stuff here. And then inside, no like postcard or anything, it is a printed label. Just says The Power of Myth. It doesn't have the whole title. The Hero's Adventure, no number of the episode, Then your product number, runtime, copyright type warning there, and time life video logo at the bottom. Again, one of these big kind of weird spool VHS cassettes. And nothing there. And yes, this is one of the ones, I don't know if you can see it on there, but that little white patch, pretty sure that is mold on there. So keeping these kind of separated out. Really no sense in looking in detail at all the other ones, but program 2, I'll just kind of do the spin. Assume all the tops look the same, so that I can just do the spin here. This one's actually in there upside down. Not that it matters that much. Program 3 with a spin, also upside down. Wonder how many of these are going to be upside down just from me looking at these the other day. Okay. Program 4. Hey, that one's right side up. Program 5. Right side up. And then program 6. Oh, that one's backwards even. But it was right side up. So there we go with those. And yes, it is just a plain slipcover box to stick them in. But then also in 1991, there was another boxed set that looks very similar. It's a little glossier, but it could just be that this is in better condition. I think it's actually glossier. It's just hard for me to say for sure. You'll notice here that the sides are effectively the same. The top here has the title of the series, programs 1 through 6, names of the programs, Mystic Fire Video, but nothing about Parabola or Time Life, because this is just straight through Mystic Fire themselves. The bottom, similarly, no Time Life Video, of course, but also no Parabola magazine. Just the name of the program, video cassette set, programs 1 through 6, UPC with ISBN, product number type thing there with VHS, Mystic Fire Video only, and then the contact info down there. And then here is your back, similarly set up to what we just saw, but again, just Mystic Fire Video by itself. There appears to have been some sort of like disassociation for this particular release. But again, the last of the copyright dates on here on the back is 1991, so presumably released around the same time. Just an empty interior. As for these, title, image, program number, title again. Spine, title of the series, program number, title of the episode. In this case, VHS, and then a product number, and then just Mystic Fire Video, but it is the same on the other side. The top does have a company name again, but it is just Mystic Fire there to go along with the other familiar stuff. And then here's the layout to the back. They put the UPC up here, separate out the images and put them up here kind of off to the side so that the title stretches the entire way. Program 1 of 6, title, description of the series itself there, the little box with the snippet and all, to order more, blah, 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 and then your contact type information and legalese down there at the bottom. It is another of these printed labels, but it does have the full series name on it this time. Then the program number with the bullet and the title, and then copyright information, Mystic Fire Video, contact info, and the warning, the copyright warning. Nothing here, and notice it is a standard spool here rather than one of those weird big ones. And once again, this applies throughout the entire series. And we will do a side-by-side here in just a second. Whew, got a lot of these to show, isn't there? Downside, there being 6 in every set, even though really, looking at one would probably be enough. So, side-by-side spines here for the spines that are oriented the same way. They all have the title, they all have the program number, they all then have the title of the episode. It's really just the stuff on the bottom that differs. 1988, it's Mystic Fire and Parabola. Time Life from 91, it's still both, but also has Time Life with the number there. Then 91 just from Mystic Fire, no Parabola, no Time Life, of course, but also says VHS and has the product number there as well. On the tops, 1988 has both company names, no company name at all for 91 from Time Life, and Mystic Fire only for the Mystic Fire one from 91. Covers, if I keep from dropping them here, effectively the same. The backs, though, do differ, and there is a side-by-side comparison. And then as far as labels go, there's 88 up at the top, there is Time Life on the bottom left, and there's Mystic Fire on the bottom right. And honestly, I don't know if I mentioned it a second ago because it is all a blur. It's really difficult recording this episode for some reason and all the different times I've had to restart things. So just As a note here, on the LaserDisc release, it does have a Voyager company before it does the Mystic Fire and Parabola stuff, but that's just on the LaserDisc. On the 1988 VHS release, it just goes from the warning straight into the program itself, Mystic Fire, Parabola. On the Time Life set from 91, it says Time Life Video after the warning, and then Mystic Fire, Parabola. And on the Mystic Fire set from 91, it does still say Mystic Fire and Parabola, but before both of those, after the little copyright warning, it does have a Fox Lorber logo. Otherwise, they're effectively the same in terms of their content. No bonus features to speak of whatsoever. You don't really need to own that many copies. I just do. That then brings us into the era of DVDs, starting with one we have seen before, I believe, but we'll go ahead and hit it. From 2001, we have Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth with and rather than an ampersand, but it is there as an and, with Bill Moyers, image there. The bottom just says bonus interview with George Lucas on Mythology, Mystic Fire video symbol, DVD symbol there. No top or bottom because it is just a case here. Your spine there. The top there, an interesting symbol I haven't seen much. It's DVD, but instead of saying DVD video, it's DVD, and then underneath it says ROM/video. It's kind of like a universal symbol there. Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth with Bill Moyers. Mystic Fire video underneath there. The back here, images of the two men again with their names up at the top. Quick description of the program, like we've seen before. It's actually the same description effectively. Then number of episode, bullet again with title of episode and description. Like the credit stuff, Mystic Fire video and WinStar this time down in the corner. Mystic Fire, WinStar here. Legalese type stuff. And then a list of bonus features. Bonus features include interview with George Lucas, biographies, bibliographies, art gallery, chapter indexes, not indices maybe, trailer, web links, and closed captioned. And this is one of those weird old-timey cases you don't see much anymore in terms of how it actually opens. But you got your discs in either side. So you have the title of the program here, image, DVD, that weird Mystic Fire video logo that is red that's kind of hard to see on here. Then the product number for Mystic Fire, runtime, disc 1, and the names of the episodes that are on it. And then, as you would expect, essentially the same thing, though with a different image this time, for disc 2 for programs 4 through 6. As far as, bonus features and whatnot that are on here, aside from just the programs themselves, let's see. So both discs have an About This DVD menu item, which is basically like production credits for the DVDs themselves. They both have a list or a link for a page of web links, which is just kind of a list, but it includes web links for the Joseph Campbell Foundation, Bill Moyers on PBS, Mystic Fire Online, StarWars.com, and WinStar Video. Then on disc 1, you have an interview with George Lucas that is a snippet essentially from this that runs 14 minutes. And there's an art gallery, which is basically just a menu where you can click on still images to bring up from the different episodes that are on that DVD. So the art gallery part, as it's called, for episode 1 includes 16 images, episode 2 includes 13 images, episode 3 includes 24 images. There's also a text-based biography of Joseph Campbell and another for Bill Moyers, and a bibliography, like a list of their works, for Joseph Campbell and Bill Moyers as well, all on disc 1. On disc 2, you got the art gallery for those episodes. Episode 4 has 12 images, episode 5 has 17, episode 6 has 13. There's a videography for Joseph Campbell, like his other documentary stuff, and selections from his documentary Sukhavati, Place of Bliss. It runs 9 minutes or so, give or take, but it is in the menu divided into 3 separate clickable menu items that take you to different points, different chapters within that little 9-minute segment. Entitled Invocation, Archetypes of the Unconscious, and Amitabha's Paradise. So aside from just talking about George Lucas and Star Wars in the first episode, this actually has that first appearance of the George Lucas interview snippet relating to the mythology of Star Wars with Lucas and Moyers. Then in 2005, that gets repackaged as this. It's essentially the exact same discs, new labels, new package. So we have Joseph Campbell and The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, image there, text in red and yellow, which we'll look at in a second, Mystic Fire video and DVD. The text here in red says, a powerful journey into mankind's universal search for meaning and connection. The yellow part says, bonus interview with George Lucas. Okay. And there's a spine. We have DVD video, product number, Joseph Campbell and The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers. Again, Mystic Fire video down at the bottom. UPC, images of the two men, description of the program, Episode list, in this case, instead of bullets, it's periods. So number, period, and then the title and descriptions, but otherwise the same. You got your information about the cast crew type stuff, your legalese. This now has Wellspring involved. So Wellspring, a division of Genius Products, Inc. Genius Entertainment, a division of Genius Products, Inc. DVD Video, Mystic Fire, and the little red, like splashy thing here, like you'd see on like a toy or something, is basically just the list of bonus features again. Interview with George Lucas, biographies, bibliographies, art gallery, chapter indexes, trailers, web links, and hey, closed captioned as well. The discs themselves are, again, identical in content, but not in labeling, just similar in labeling. Joseph Campbell and the Power of the Myth with Bill Moyers, image there, DVD video, Mystic Fire video, then your Mystic Fire product number, approximately 3 hours, then Wellspring also down here as well, and then disc 1 and your list of episodes. Disc 2, effectively the same in terms of its setup. This isn't a DVD case that just uses an arm, and it does have a little card with it that's reminiscent of the card on that VHS set that we saw from '88. But up there it says Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, Disc 1. Disc 2 just labels what is on each of them. And then information here on the back with Mystic Fire and Wellspring this time. Nothing with Parabola. It says Joseph Campbell and ampersand. Joseph Campbell, ampersand, The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers is a production of 'S Productions, Inc. in association with Alvin H. Perlmutter, Inc. and Public Affairs Television, Inc. An interview with George Lucas is excerpted from The Mythology of Star Wars, a production of Public Affairs Television, Inc. Sukhavati, Place of Bliss is a production of Mystic Fire Video, Inc. For more information, please visit www.mysticfire.com. So, kind of advertisey, credity kind of stuff there. But again, it is basically just the exact same thing with the exact same bonus features and everything, just put onto these discs with new labels because of Wellspring needing to be included and the new cover, and just more compact by being in a more modern 2005 type case rather than the 2001 style case here. But at that point, the new releases kind of change hands and come to Athena, or Athena Learning, starting in 2010. This is the 2010 release of it from Athena. It says, dazzling and still potently relevant, San Francisco Chronicle. Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers. No more and, whether ampersand or written. The seminal PBS series on world mythology. Image there, fascinating. The New York Times, compelling. The Wall Street Journal, engage your mind, expand your world. Athena. Then there is stuff on the top there this time. The image there, Joseph Campbell. Wait, and? Yes, that's right. The cover just says Joseph Campbell. This part says Joseph Campbell and The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers. Make up your mind! Legalese and UPC down there on the bottom. And then the spine, also Joseph Campbell and The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers. Athena, product number, and then DVD, and that is continuing that little band from the front there. And that does continue all the way around the back. And then the back says, stirring and elevating, Los Angeles Times. It has the images of the two men. Again, it's at this time with sort of mini bios with them, a description of the program and the bonus features, then your stats and whatnot, like 6 episodes, approximate runtime, that sort of thing. Athena with their website, Dolby Digital, DVD video. It contains nudity and some violent images. Why didn't you warn me since 1988? It took them 22 years to warn anybody. Then authoritative, entertaining, in-depth programs with exclusive extras. Now for this one, this is actually a slipcover over 2 slim cases here. So, pretty much the same kind of setup here. Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, does say disc 1, and it has the tagline there with Athena again. The spine, very, very tiny there. It says Athena, Joseph Campbell, and The Power of Myth, so it has the and there. Then you've got disc 1, the orientation changes, and then DVD to kind of carry over to the front again. This carrying over to the back with nothing actually in it this time. Disc 1, image there, episodes with their numbers, titles, and descriptions, bonus for this particular disc, stats for this particular disc, legalese, Athena, Dolby Digital, and DVD. Just so we can look at it quickly. Same setup for disc 2 there. No art or anything on the inside of the slim case, but then here is your disc design. Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, so the and is gone again. Image there, disc 1. Bonus information, runtime, legalese and copyright, Athena Dolby Digital DVD, Engage Your Mind, Expand Your World. So actually nowhere on this does it actually tell you which episodes are on it. When you look at the disc label, you have to look at the packaging. And then for disc 2, it is set up the same way. So what is on this? Again, consulting my notes, because boy, it's a lot. On disc 1, there is a Bill Moyers biography and an excerpt from Bill Moyers' journal, Joseph Campbell, Myths to Live By, that runs about 25 minutes. Pardon me if you hear my son and my wife being loud all the way across the house, because it's that kind of a day. Let's see. Then we have a section on Campbell's influences, which are just text-based, but you have James Joyce, Carl Jung, Thomas Mann, Arthur Schopenhauer, and Heinrich Zimmer, all listed there. And then a photo gallery of episode images, but unlike these, where it was still images to click through, on this, it's more like a video slideshow, where you click and it just plays a video that just slowly works its way through the individual images there. On disc 2, there's the excerpt from this, Mythology of Star Wars with George Lucas and Bill Moyers, that 14-minute excerpt again. And selections, again, the little 9-minute segment on Sukhavati, except not divided into chunks on the menu again. It's just all treated as if it is one whole. There's also that sort of photo gallery video-ish thing on disc 2 for the episodes contained on disc 2. It is episodes 1, 2, and 3 on the first disc, 4, 5, and 6 on the second one, so divided up the same way as on those Mystic Fire releases. But then there's also another section on Campbell's influences on the second disc, and you'd be forgiven, as I actually did, of thinking, oh, it's just repeating the same information. It's not. It's different people on disc 2. James George Fraser, Sigmund Freud, Leo Frobenius, Elmer Gregor, Jiddu Krishnamurti, Ed Ricketts, Oswald Spengler, and Alan Watts. So some of the stuff has carried over. The image galleries are now slideshows, of course, but it does have the Sukhavati thing. It does have the George Lucas interview. It has a Bill Moyers biography, but only Bill Moyers, and it is a second version. It's not the same way that it's written on the other one, but these have no biography for Campbell, no bibliographies or videographies for this one. And of course, no web links about this DVD, stuff like that. So the key things carried over here being the George Lucas interview and the Sukhavati bit. Then in 2012, for the 25th anniversary, we got this. Also from Athena, somewhat of a repackage, somewhat not. It is in a slipcover here, a top and bottom loader, with new and expanded bonus features, which is true. Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth, no and, with Bill Moyers, 25th Anniversary Edition. Fascinating, the New York Times. Compelling, the Wall Street Journal, as seen on PBS. Still says, engage your mind, expand your world, and Athena down here. That's a little bit tougher to see there. The spine has Athena, Image, Joseph Campbell, and The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, 25th Anniversary Edition, product number, and DVD there. Essentially the same thing on the other side. The back, and it's all very shiny. The seminal PBS series on world mythology, UPC, images with the little bios again, dazzling and still potently relevant, San Francisco Chronicle, just in a different place. Description, bonus features, stats, legalese, Athena DVD Dolby Digital. Again, the warning contains materials some viewers may find objectionable. So, now they're not telling us what kind of objectionable it might be, but you might find it objectionable. And then authoritative, entertaining, in-depth programs with exclusive extras down there. Take it out. And a similar design here to the case, so essentially the same thing here, just not as shiny. Spine-wise, essentially the same thing there, just not as shiny. The back, you can see the pattern here, essentially the same thing there, but not as shiny. This one has a little booklet to go with it that just has the cover art there that we saw a moment ago. Biggest difference is down here it says a viewer's guide instead of any kind of tag stuff for the company there. But it's just a nice little booklet of information here and some images. Runs 9 pages total, and then on the back some also on DVD for other programs. The actual discs, Joseph Campbell, no and, The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, 25th Anniversary Edition. Disc number, episode numbers. You got runtime, copyright, and legalese type stuff here. Athena, Dolby Digital. then DVD, then, again, same thing, engage your mind, expand your world down there. Then you have a second disc labeled similarly. Notice that's episodes 1 through 3 on the first disc, 4 through 6 on the second disc. What's the deal with disc 3? That is the bonus disc. All the bonus features have effectively been moved over to this disc. And I would note here that when I first got this, my third disc was cracked, so I had to replace it, which is why this episode took a while before I could even record the thing after ordering all this stuff. And there is actually, as I replaced it here, you can also find it without a slipcover, just like this, and the discs have a slightly darker blue to them than this initial one, and the only real difference on packaging is a little product number down here in the corner. It's just kind of like the stuff we saw with a lot of the Disney era releases, right? Once it's released with the slipcover, eventually you want to also put it out without a slipcover as restocks happen and stuff like that. So for this one, what do we have here? Well, we have some trailers this time, some also from Athena trailers. You have Joseph Campbell Mythos, Bill Moyers, World of Ideas, Two Great Thinkers. That's on disc 1. And then on disc 2, there's no bonus features at all, not even trailers. Disc 3 is where the bonus features are basically housed. You have Bill Moyers' Journal, parts 1 and 2, two different episodes of Bill Moyers' Journal. One runs 58 minutes, the other runs 46. You have a snippet from the Mythology of Star Wars, but this time instead of 14 minutes, it is 28 minutes long. So it's a different, longer snippet. Then you have the Joseph Campbell Library section with clips from A Hero's Journey, Mythos 1, Mythos 2, Mythos 3, and that same 9-minute clip from Sukhavati. You have photo galleries divided up by disc, but they're basically the same type of thing we saw here. They're just on here, but it says, photo gallery for disc 1 or for disc 2, so you know which episodes they come from. And then it does have the Campbell's Influences section again, except it's all one giant section. Instead of a few people on disc 1, a few people on disc 2, they're all together on disc 3, and you have a Bill Moyers biography. What I think is fun about these is the fact that they really want to make sure you know that things are old and it's not their fault. So when you put in the disc to play the regular documentary from either of these Athena releases, there's a warning that says, due to the age of these programs and the improved resolution that DVD provides, you may notice occasional flaws in the image and audio on this DVD presentation that we are unable to correct. And then if you play the Bill Moyers Journal ones on the 25th anniversary edition, before it plays those, it says something similar. Due to the age of this recently found archival footage and the improved resolution that DVD provides, you may notice occasional flaws in the image and audio on this DVD presentation that were beyond our ability to correct from the original materials. Original broadcast, 1981. They really want to make sure you know that it's not their fault. And then finally, from 2018, the last one I know to exist, the last one I've been able to find so far. It's the one we looked at previously, so we're not going to look at it all in depth again, so I will go fast. 30th Anniversary Edition. Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth with Bill Moyers, no and. Kino Lorber this time, 3-disc set, includes bonus documentary, Finding Joe. The back here, fascinating quoting and compelling quoting in from the same sources. Images, information about it, more images, bonus feature listing, stats, Kino Lorber, Dolby Digital, DVD, Region 1 NTSC, closed captioned, legalese, UPC there. Spine, Kino Lorber, Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth, no and here either. DVD video, product number down there. No internal insert or anything. The disc there with legalese going around the edge, Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth. We have disc 1, episodes 1 through 3, Kino Lorber, DVD, Region 1 NTSC. We have disc 2 with episodes 4 through 6. And then we have bonus features and Finding Joe on disc 3. Again, we just looked at this fairly recently. No sense diving into too much detail with it. Suffice to say, on all 3 discs, you will see long and short trailers just of Power of Myth, if you like. All the other bonus features are on disc 3, and they include only the Bill Moyers Journal 58 and 46-minute segments, the same ones that we just saw on the 25th anniversary edition from Athena. Mythology of Star Wars segment is back, but it is back to that 14-minute segment. This is the only one with the 28-minute version on it, and the documentary Finding Joe that we talked about extensively in our last episode on The Power of Myth. So, yeah. Again, lots of papers here to take notes but really not a lot of commonality in some respects. The Sukhavati thing carries over all the way up to the end of the Athena stuff and then stops for Kino Lorber. The George Lucas interview stays on all of the DVD releases, except it's that weird extra long version in 2012 for the Athena 25th Anniversary Edition. It is just a mixture of stuff. But if you're looking for the George Lucas thing, any of the DVDs will work, because any of them will have the Star Wars stuff in Episode 1, but also have a George Lucas interview. But if you're looking for the extended, longer version of the George Lucas thing, you will find it on this version only. But again, it's just material that you could check out if you have actually watched this one as well. Whew. So 30 years, basically. 1988 to 2018, as far as releases of this thing. Hopefully, if you find this interesting, you'll find one of those that fits your particular fancy in which one or ones you'd like to pick up. For me, I hope this is all of them. This felt almost Spaceballs-esque in how far this rabbit hole kept going, but certainly it's nowhere near the number for Spaceballs. It just had that same feeling, because every time I thought I was done, there was another one to find. Again, my thanks to Matthew Hardesty for pointing me to the newest version that I've been able to find of this one, and accidentally tipping me down the rabbit hole to get all these other ones except the one that I already previously had. Whew. With that, we'll finally wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers, whether it's about Star Wars or mythology or both.